So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is our C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners, and this is video number 5. And in this video, we are talking about this std cout and the thing what you can see here. And I will not explain it, just memorize the thing here. And that's strange, I know, but to explain this one in detail, there are too many information included, so it is easier just to memorize this one and we learn how we use it. That we will talk here in this video. First of all, so what you have to memorize: std cout, and then these two signs, and then this parenthesis, space, and a semicolon. That's it. That's save this. This one you have to memorize. And after you memorize that, we learn now how we use that. So this one is a print out statement. So print out for, it is not called print out, but here the cout actually means C++ print this out what comes here next. So in the top line, for example, cout, it starts with std, but this is just a library or a class. Depends. That's why I don't explain it right now here. That's why just learn this one. And the only thing what you have to know is the thing what you write between this parenthesis will be printed out, right? So in this case, we have here hello world. This one will be printed out. So let's make it an example. Let's print out, okay, I get it. All right, I control S for save, and I go on top to the local window debugger, press enter, or click on it, and we have here hello world. Yes, I expected that. Okay, I get it. All right, why I have here space? Because here I made a space. Let's get rid of the space as well. Control S one more time, debugger. So it looks okay and lined. All right, so what you have to do is just learn this, memorize it. I in generally don't need to memorize much, but in this case, let's do it the easy way. And the only thing you have to know, what comes here between this parenthesis as a text will print it out. That's it. And the question is why we need that, right? This is a presentation method. There are different kind of presentation method. And this one is the so-called console presentation, so a text line presentation. In general, later you could ask, wait a minute, there are, when I click a standard program, for example, an application or something, anything, there is no line command in general, right? Let's click here on our Visual Studio. I click it, and what you can see here is it pops up a window, and in this window I have here nice ordered information. But when we compare this one now with our presentation of information, right? The print statement is a presentation. It looks just, yeah, text line. And that's because this one, what we activated is console. Also, it's a console, right? And that means it's just a text line presentation. But of course, you can later change this to a window presentation as well, but we do this as well not at start, because the Windows presentation, to create just a little window takes again a lot of code which we have to talk, but we have only talked this one time, and then you save this as a library and then use the whole code all time again and again. So that said, let me demonstrate this one with the online compiler as well, if you are following this online. So here we have a little bit bigger problem, because we have here a little bit more code. Probably you see it. And the thing what you have to know is, I said you should learn std cout. This is the only line, two even here, std cout, what is your name? And std cout hello, and then here's a little bit of a strange thing, right? But this one is an addition, how to print additional information out. This we can go not now too, but let's see, what is your name? I start this moment, okay, and hello Mehmet. And what is so you can see this one is printing out that what's between this parenthesis here. What is your name? Okay, then it doing something here, code stuff, and then here again std out between the parentheses it prints out. And this one is another way how to use a variable, but we will talk about that later. So only if you follow along with this one. That said, I know this is not good in general to say anyone learn something, memorize something. It's not a good thing, but at start it's easier to memorize this little line than explain this little line. This looks very little, but believe me, this is much more complicated than it looks. So, and that said, I think we can stop here. But before we stop, one more important note. At start, in programming, all is easy, right? So very little. The problem in programming is all the little things. What? Yeah, it's very easy. Yes, but all the little things adding up. Not like in let's say in a normal language, right? So in a normal language, you can learn some words, for example, and perhaps you forget some of them and can replace them or with other words with the same meaning. And so here in programming, careful, this works too later perhaps, but at start not. What I mean with that is you need to learn every step here, because later I expect you from you, for example, in the next video, that you know int main is our start point, right? That's it. And you should be able, when you get a plain text here, to write first int main, and then this line of code will be this line of code you memorized today. This one you should be able to write too, but we will have here a problem, because that I didn't mention right now, because this will not work if you just write int main and std out with this line, because I talked also about a library, right? And that's what I say, the little things you have really learn too, but we have not talked about it. I just mentioned there is a, on top we have a library something, and these libraries are needed to use this line of code, sometimes, which we write between these braces in main. In this case, we can see this std out, what I have here, will not work if I have not sharp include IO stream. So let's say learn this also, memorize this also at start, because this one is input output stream and this one is an output which we are going to use, but I'm not explaining this now, what it is, how it is, and so on. Just learn them, but I can demonstrate it that it's not working if I'm not having it. So let's get rid of this. I cut it out, I save it, and when I go now here, and you can see error message, no, and here on the bottom, and look now, I have just deleted this one here or cut it out, and here I have error message. And I talked also about an error message in the last video a little bit, and here you see a much more difficult to figure out error message. What I mean with that is you can see we have here different errors, and for example it starts here on top with C declaration of std and namespace std and whatever, and then C out undeclared identifier, and here is this red line below cout, which means there is an error or something like that. But the question is, okay, where the hell I have to go? Or what is it now? Okay, here it's still identifying in a good way, still good way, but much more complicated than the other error what I had, what I have demonstrated you. Let me show you this fast too, because it's so important. I bring back, I save that, I compile, and now all the errors on the bottom you can see are gone. I start my program normal. The other error which I showed you before was this one. I accidentally deleted my semicolon at the end, and then save that, start that, and again error. Yes, but this error you can see very fast to jump into. It says here expect semicolon here, and we will deal with errors later too. I think yes, not I think, I mean we will definitely learn how to deal with errors, because this is a part of a programmer too. One of his main part even, to deal with errors, to solve these errors. But at start, try not to make errors. And if you make errors, don't worry. This is normal in programming, to make errors. The important part is to solve these errors. And that said, I think I stop here this video, and you try to memorize now this one and this one, and you see we are going adding up more and more. Adding up means it becomes bigger, and we use all that what we talked before. Don't forget that, and bye.